So if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know that I have been aggressively trying to pay off my debt. And for a long time, that was I was like tunnel vision on paying off my debt. And I didn't do anything outside of paying off my debt. And now this year, I've kind of reshifted my goals and my priorities, and I've started tithing this year. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the reasons why I didn't tithe in the past and why I've decided to do that now, especially when I still have debt and other goals that I want to hit this year. But before we get into all of that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I make videos like this every week talking about personal finance, saving, budgeting, my debt-free journey. So if any of that sounds interesting, go ahead and hit subscribe. Okay, so first, let's talk about why I did not used to tithe. Even though I grew up Christian, tithing was not something that I did. I don't really know if my family tithe or not, like my parents, but like I personally did not tithe. At my church, we would do like whenever it was your birthday month, you were expected to like give money. And I think I did during my birthday month, but outside of that, yeah, I didn't tithe. So I never really had like it wasn't a habit for me, or it wasn't something that I've always done or was told to do, at least not by the people around me. I think that's like a known thing if you're a Christian, like, oh, you're supposed to tithe, but I don't think anyone like in my inner circle was like, Simone, are you tithing? I never had that conversation. So it wasn't something that was expected of me, I guess. So I just never did it. So that was when I was younger, when I was a kid. But then once I became an adult, and for me, I consider adult like post-college, like after I've left my parents' house and I'm on my own. So adult Simone, why I didn't. I think I've always been cheap, and any time like I don't have to spend money, I really enjoy that. So I didn't. God, it sounds bad, but like I didn't because I didn't want to, I guess, basically, if that's the truth. I mean, that would just be like another expense, and I didn't like it then, still don't like it now. I don't like spending money, so it wasn't something that I was like ready or wanting to start doing, tithing. So I didn't make it a priority because I didn't want to spend the extra money. Another reason that I didn't tithe in the past was I had other financial goals. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I paid off my car in 1 year, and that was a really hard thing to do. And that was only possible because like I paid for very basic living expenses, and then all my other money went towards the car. I was so focused on my goals that I never even thought about tithing. So that was back when I was paying off the car. This past year, I was paying off a lot of credit card debt, and just felt like those other goals were a priority. So I never put tithing as a priority. But that was in the past. And by the past, I mean like December 2020, and it's now February 2021. So now we're in the present, right? For 2021, I just wanted to start doing things differently, and I wanted to start tithing. And these are the reasons why. Number one, I'm working on building a better relationship with God. This is still like a personal finance channel, so I don't want to get like too deep into my personal life. But yeah, I'm working on having a better relationship with God, and that's something, tithing is something that we're supposed to do. So I wanted to start making that a priority and not leaving, not thinking like, oh, like if I have extra money, then I'll give a little, but wanting to tithe, which is 10%. So when I do my monthly budgets now, I sit down and that's like a line item for me. Like, oh, 10% of whatever I make that month, that's going to God. So another reason why I've started tithing is I can afford it. Even though that's not like the right mindset as far as tithing. So it's really regardless of your income. It's supposed to be 10% of whatever your income is. So if you make 20,000 a year, 10% should go to God. If you make 200,000 a year, 10% should go to God. So I say that like I can afford it now, but I could have afforded it then. I just chose to not act on that. But now I am making more money than I was in previous years. So it's got to the point where like you can afford it. Like you can afford it. So just do it. Like that's me talking to myself like, Simone, you can do it. Like just go ahead. So I'm just in a better place where I feel more comfortable to do it. Like it's not a strain as it would have been. It's not as much of a strain as it would have been previously when I was making less money. And again, I know that's not the point of tithing. Don't come for me in the comments. I'm just trying to be real. Like I can afford it, so that's why I'm doing it now. And also, disclaimer, I'm not like a preacher or a minister or anything like that. I'm just a regular person out here just sharing my story. So don't come at me as if I should know all of this information. So another reason why I started tithing is I don't want my long-term goals that I have to get in the way of living in the moment. Because, I was super focused on paying off my car, right? So I didn't tithe back then. And then I was super focused on paying off my credit card debt. So I didn't tithe then. And I was always like, well, once this is over, then I can do that, right? But I realized like I'm always going to have financial goals. So I shouldn't like put certain things off, right? Like, for instance, now, like I'm still finishing off the credit card debt, but when that is over, I want to save for a home. When that's over, I want to pay off these student loans. When that's over, I'd like to have a new car. So like there's always going to be something else. So I shouldn't stop doing things that I need to do in the moment just because I have financial goals. Like I can still put money towards my financial goals, but I can also still tithe. And the last reason why I decided to start tithing is supposed to be 10%, right? So depending on your income, that can be a lot. So let's say you make $1,000 a month, then that would be $100 to tithing. And $100 is already like, I consider that to be like a significant amount of money. So if you make $2,000 a month, then you're up to $200 a month in tithing. And that can start to seem like, well, that's kind of like a significant bill. Like that can cover some utilities. Like, oh, I could do like some real stuff with that money, right? So that could be a mindset that you default back into. But I started thinking of it as like, okay, so why is my 10% so big? Because the 100% is so big, right? So I think that, as your 10% gets higher, that's just a blessing that your 100% is getting higher. So I didn't want to have the mindset of like, oh my goodness, I have to pay whatever because that's 10%, when it's like, well, don't you have this 100%? And that's why your 10% is so high, right? So why would you, it's kind of like, I don't know the word for it, rude, arrogant, selfish. Like, I don't know the word for it. But if you think about it like that, it's kind of like, oh, how dare I be stingy with this 10% when God's given me the 100%. So that's how I've started thinking about it. And then it became a lot easier for me to be like, oh, okay, well, we put it like that. All right. So that's kind of my mindset on it. And again, I'm not a pastor, minister, nothing like that. I'm just trying to get closer to God and having a better relationship with God this year. So that's why I've started to to tithe because I want to. And I don't want to feel forced to, or like be a stingy giver or anything like that. And I think in previous years, I would have been a stingy giver and I wouldn't have wanted to do it. And I would have felt like I had to do it. But I'm at a place where I'm not like a stingy giver. I'm doing it because I want to. So I think that that's kind of like a growth on my spiritual journey. Again, this channel is about personal finance, so it's not like a spiritual type channel or anything like that. But I did want to share this in case there are other people, other Christians out there who are paying off debt, trying to, aggressively pay off debt and wondering if they should be tithing. I'm going to leave that up to you and your heart on whether or not you should be doing that. But I decided that I want to start doing it, and I wanted to make this video and talk about that. So I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave some comments down below, share it if you think it can help anyone else, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.